Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, working in ISL Engineering College. I am taking the subject Electrical Machines 1 for Triple second year students. So in the previous classes we have seen about the how to design a lap and wave windings. Okay, lap and wave windings are the two types of armature winding which are used frequently so that the conductors in the armature slots can be connected to each other. Okay, so in the two forms we are connecting the armature conductors. One is lap winding, another one is wave winding. So we have seen various terminologies which is used uh, to understand what exactly is lap and wave winding. Okay, basically armature winding of a DC machine is wound by one of the two methods, lap or wave winding. Difference between these two is merely due to the end connections and commutator connections of the conductor. So lap winding will be having overlapping of the winding on each other. That's why its name is called as lap winding. And wave winding looks like a progressive wave. So its name has come from that it looks like a progressive wave. So it is called as wave winding. Okay, we have seen the design of lap and wave winding. Also, we have seen the comparison between these two windings. And in today's class, I am going to say about the EMF equation of a DC machine. See, students, EMF will be generated in a generator as well as EMF will be generated in a motor also. But when the EMF is generated in motor, it is called as back EMF. Okay, so the derivation of the equation will be same whether it is a generator or a motor. So to know about how armature winding is done, it is essential to know the few terminologies like what is conductor, turn, coil, coil side, coil group, winding, inductor, front end connector, okay, a back end connector, pole pitch, front pitch, back pitch, resultant pitch. Okay, all these terminologies we have seen. So this is a single turn. Coil can be single turn or multi-turn coil. Multi-turn means what? More than one turn. Okay. So here we can see that we get this is the active length of the conductor. These are back connections. This is the commutator. This is a single turn coil. This is a three-turn coil. This is a progressive lap winding, retrogressive lap winding, and wave winding. Now YB is the back pitch, YF is the front pitch, YR is resultant pitch, YC is commutator pitch. So for progressive, retrogressive and wave winding, we have seen YB, YF, YR and YC. Okay. So front pitch is defined as the distance in terms of number of armature conductors between the second conductor of one coil and the first conductor of the next coil, which are connected to the same commutator segment on the front or commutator end. Back pitch is defined as the distance in terms of number of armature conductors between the last and the first conductors of the coil. It is also called as coil span or coil spread. It is denoted by YB. Resultant pitch is defined as the distance in terms of number of conductors between the start of one coil and the start of next coil to which it is to be connected. It is denoted as YR. Commutator pitch is defined as the distance measured in terms of commutator segments between the segments to which the two ends of a coil are connected. It is denoted as YC. Coil span or coil pitch. When the coil span of the winding is equal to the pole pitch, coils are called as full pitch coils. Full pitch coils have the advantage of giving maximum EMF induced in the coils. Armature winding of a DC machine. Coil number 1 has span less than 1 pole pitch. During the revolution of armature, there will be an instant during which both sides of such coils will be under the influence of one and the same pole. So EMF induced in these two coils between these two sides of the coil will be in opposition. Similarly, there will be an instant during which both coils of an over-pitched coil will be under the influence of two similar poles, and EMF induced in the two coils of such will be in opposition. So once the EMF is in same direction, another time it is in the opposition. So advantage of fractional pitch winding is that substantial saving is affected in the copper of end connections, and the commutation is improved owing to lesser mutual inductance between the coils. Types of armature winding. Armature windings are always of the non-salient pole type, and usually they are symmetrically distributed in slots around the complete circumference of the armature. Armature windings, according to the degree of closure produced by the winding, are of two types: open coil and closed coil. Open coil winding is that winding which does not close on itself, that is, it is a closed circuit, will not be formed until some external connection is made to source or load. Open coil winding is never employed in DC machine, but it is usually employed in AC machines. Closed coil winding is that winding which closes on itself. In such a winding, if one starts tracing through it, one will come back to the starting point without passing through any external connection. DC machines employ only closed coil windings in order to provide for the commutation of the coils. Though closed type winding can be used in AC machines also, but usually open coil windings will be used. So continuous or closed windings are of two types: gram ring winding and drum winding. Gram ring type of armature winding is an early form of winding which has been replaced by more efficient winding called as drum winding. So our discussion will be restricted to drum winding. So in this winding, conductors will be housed in slots over the armature surface and connected to one another by front and back connectors or coil ends. Drum type winding has following two principal advantages. First one, all armature copper except end connections is active, that is, it cuts flux and therefore is active in generating EMF. Second one, coils can be preformed and insulated before placing on the armature, so cost will be reduced. So this is a drum winding. It can be either single layer or double layer winding. Single layer winding, in which one conductor or one coil side is placed in each armature slot, is rarely used. Two layer winding, in which there are two conductors or coil sides per slot arranged in two layers. It is usually used for economy reasons. So this is a numbering scheme for a two layer winding. Lap winding. Single turn lap winding will have finish end of one coil is connected to a commutator segment and to the start end of the adjacent coil situated under the same pole, and similarly all coils are connected. And this winding is called as lap winding because sides of successive coils overlap each other. Lap winding may be further classified as simplex or multiplex windings. In simplex winding, there are as many parallel paths or circuits through the windings as there are field poles on the machines. Double and triple windings are used on armature designed for a supply of large currents at low voltage. Sole purpose of such a winding is to increase the number of parallel paths, enabling the armature to carry a large total current, at the same time reducing the conductor current to improve commutation conditions. Double or duplex winding will consist of two similar simplex windings placed in alternate slots on the armature and connected to alternate commutator segments. The YB, the back pitch, must be approximately equal to pole pitch. That is, YB is equal to Z by P, where Z is the number of conductors on armature and P is the number of poles. And YB should be either lesser or greater than front pitch by 2M, where M is the multiplicity of the winding. And back pitch and front pitch must be odd. Average pitch is given as YB plus YF by 2. Resultant pitch is always even. Commutator pitch is equal to M, that is YC is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on respectively for simplex, duplex, triplex, quadruplex windings. Number of parallel paths in lap winding is equal to MP, that is number of parallel paths is equal to P or 2P, 3P, 4P for simplex, duplex, triplex, quadruplex windings. Then we have seen the winding diagram for a progressive lap winding. For first, how to draw the diagram, all procedure, everything is given. Okay. So first we have to do the front and back end connections. Draw on a tabular column. Then we have to know the position of brushes. Draw all the coil sides. Number of coil sides is 24. Then place each coil under each one pole, 8 coils under one pole. Then do the front and back connections. Then at last connect it to the brushes, and then it will be given to the positive and negative ends of the supply. Characteristics we have seen for lap winding. Okay, wave winding. Wave winding is also sometimes called as series winding. Lap winding, coil side under one pole is connected directly to a coil side which occupies a nearly corresponding position under the next pole by means of back connections. And this second coil is then connected back through the commutator segment to a coil side under the original pole, but removed two or more coil sides from the initial one. But in a wave winding, coil side is not connected back but progressive forward to another coil side. In this way, winding progresses, uh, passing successfully every north pole and south pole till it will return to a coil. Uh, uh, Still it will return to the coil, the side from where it was started. So connections always progress in the same direction around armature instead of moving in alternate direction like that of lap winding. As the winding shape is wavy, winding is therefore called as wave winding. If the if after completing one round of armature, winding falls in slots to the right of its starting point, then it is called as progressive wave winding. And if it falls in a slot left of the starting point, then it is called as retrogressive winding. Other difference in lap and wave winding is that in a lap winding, number of parallel paths is equal to m times the number of poles, where m is the multiplicity of the winding, but number of parallel paths in wave winding is twice the multiplicity of the winding. Fact that simplex wave winding always have two parallel paths, each of which contain conductors or less uniformly distributed around the entire armature core surface, serve to provide machines wound in this manner with certain unique advantages. In the first place, wave wound machines need have but two sets of brushes. While satisfactory operation of simplex slab wound machines is possible only if there are as many brush sets as there are poles. Furthermore, in a wave wound machine equipped with as many brush sets as poles, if one or more of the brush sets develop poor contact with the commutator, satisfactory operation is still possible, and this is not true in case of lap winding. Second advantage of wave wound machines is that sparkless commutation is more likely to occur than in those wound with lap windings. The reason for this is that each of the two parallel paths contain conductors distributed completely around the entire circumference, whereas in lap wound armature, each of the parallel paths contains conductors lying under two poles only. So, in lap wave winding, both the pitches, back pitch and front pitch must be odd numbers. Back and front pitches must be nearly equal to the pole pitch and may be equal or differ by 2, in which case they will be one more or one less than average pitch. Commutator pitch is equal to average pitch, and average pitch is given by back pitch plus front pitch by 2, or z plus or minus 2 by p. Then we have developed a winding diagram for a wave connected winding. How to draw the diagram, how to draw the tabular column we have seen. This is a developed view of a 4-pole double layer simplex wave winding with 30 coil sides. Front end and back end connections we have made in that. Okay. Characteristics of wave winding we have seen. Comparison we have seen. So let us start today's class. That is EMF equation of a DC machine. As I said earlier, EMF will be developed both in the case of DC generator and DC motor. So I am not writing here DC generator or DC motor particularly. I am writing here EMF equation of a DC machine, right? So when it is when the EMF is generated in DC motor, after motoring action, generating action will take place. So EMF will be developed in the motor also, but that EMF is called as back EMF. Okay. Let phi be the flux per pole in Webers. Z is the total number of armature conductors or coil sides on the armature, and P is the number of poles. The number of parallel paths in the armature, and A is the number of parallel paths in the armature, and N is the rotational speed of the armature in revolutions per minute, that is RPM. RPM is nothing but revolutions per minute. So first we are specifying the terms here. Phi is the flux per pole in Webers. Webers is the units of flux. Z is the total number of armature conductors. P is the number of poles. A is the number of parallel paths. and n is the rotational speed of the conductor in revolutions per minute. Induced EMF is proportional to the time rate of change of magnetic flux, that is E is equal to d phi by dt. And according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, EMF induced is equal to rate of change of flux, E is equal to d phi by dt. During one revolution of armature in a p-pole generator, each armature conductor cuts the magnetic flux p times. So flux cut by one conductor in one revolution is p5 webers. So what we are telling here, during one revolution of armature in a generator having p number of poles, each armature conductor will cut the magnetic flux p times. So that flux cut by one conductor in one revolution is p5 webers. Since the number of revolutions made by the armature per minute is n, so number of revolutions made per second is n by 60, and therefore flux cut by each conductor per second is flux cut by one conductor per revolution into number of revolutions of armature per second, that is flux cut by each conductor per second is given as 5p into n by 60 webers. The number of conductors in series between a positive brush and a negative brush is equal to total number of conductors divided by the number of parallel paths, that is number of armature conductors per parallel path is equal to Z by A. Therefore, total EMF generated between the terminals E will be equal to average EMF induced in one conductor into number of conductors in each circuit or parallel path, that is 5p into n by 60, which we have got this equation previously, multiplied by Z by A will give us the total EMF generated between the terminals. Or this same equation I can write this as 5Z n by 60 into P by A or P5Z n by 60A. Okay students. So for a given machine, number of poles and number of armature conductor per parallel paths are constant. So therefore generated EMF E equal to K phi n. K is nothing but here Pz by 60A, or E is proportional to phi n, or E is proportional to phi omega, where omega is 2 pi n by 60. That is angular velocity in radians per second. First, we see that induced EMF is directly proportional to flux per pole and speed. Moreover, polarity of the induced EMF will depend upon the direction of magnetic field and the direction of rotation. If either of the two is reversed, polarity of the induced EMF, that is brushes, is reversed. But when both are reversed, polarity will remain unchanged. EMF induced is fundamental phenomena to all DC machines, whether they are operating as generators or motors. However, when the machine is operating as a generator, this induced EMF is called as generated EMF EG, whereas in case of a DC machine operating as a motor, it is called as counter or back EMF EB. So P5Zn by 60A is the EMF equation of a DC machine. So when it is acting as a generator, it is called as generated EMF EG, and when it is acting as a motor, then it is called as counter or back EMF EB. Okay. Now let us see few numericals based on this EMF equation. Very important, students. A dynamometer has a rated armature current at 250 amps. What is the current per path of the armature if the armature winding is simplex wave wound or simplex lap wound? So the machine has 12 poles. So rated armature current IA is 250 amps, it is given. Number of poles is 12. And for a wave winding, A is equal to 2, parallel path is equal to 2. So current per parallel path is IA by A, that is 250 by 2, 125 amps. For a lap winding, number of parallel paths is equal to 12. A is equal to P. So A is equal to P, that is 12. So current per parallel path IC is IA by A, that is 250 by 12, 20.833 amps. So for lap and wave winding, we have found out the current per path. Next, derive EMF equation of a DC generator. What will be change in EMF induced if flux is reduced by 20% and the speed is increased by 20%? Since induced EMF is proportional to phi n, E2 by E1 is equal to phi 2 by phi 1 into N2 by M1. So substitute all the values. So we are going to get E2 as 0.96 E1. Change in EMF E is equal to E1 minus E2 by E1 into 100. That is E1 minus E2 value is 0.96 E1 divided by E1 into 100. That is 4% decrease. Next numerical. A 4-pole lap-connected DC machine has an armature resistance of 0.15 ohms. Find the armature resistance of the machine when rewound for a wave connection. Now let us see for lap wound connection. For lap wound, number of parallel paths is equal to P, that is given as 4 in the question. So armature resistance is given as 0.15 ohms. Resistance of each path will be equal to armature resistance into number of parallel paths, that is 0.15 into 4, 0.6 ohms. So since Ra is equal to resistance of each path by number of parallel paths. So now let us see for wave wound. For wave wound, A is equal to 2. So resistance of each path is given as 0.6 into 4 by 2, that is 1.2 amps. And armature resistance is resistance of each path by A, that is 1.2 by 2, 0.6 ohms. Next numerical. A DC generator has an armature EMF of 100 volts when the useful flux per pole is 20 milliwebers and the speed is 800 rpm. Calculate the generated EMF. First one with the same flux and a speed of 1000 rpm. Second one with a flux per pole of 24 milliweber and a speed of 900 rpm. Let us see the solution. EMF generated is 100 volts. Flux per pole phi 1 is 20 milliweber, that is 20 into 10 power minus 3 webers. Speed is given as N1 is 800 rpm. Since induced EMF is proportional to the product of flux per pole and speed, so E is proportional to phi n, or E2 by E1 is equal to N2 by N1 into phi 2 by phi 1, or E2 is equal to N2 by N1 into phi 2 by phi 1 into E1. Substitute all the values. So we are going to get the value of E2 as 125 volts. E3 is N3 by N1 into phi 3 by phi 1 into E1. So after substitution, we are going to get the value of E3 as 135 volts. Let us see next numerical. A 6-pole lap wound DC generator has 720 conductors. Flux of 80 milliweber per pole is driven at 1000 rpm. Find the generated EMF. So generated EMF equation is phi Zn by 60 into P by A. So we substituted all the values here. So EMF generated is 960 volts. Next numerical. A 4-pole DC generator has 51 slots and each contains 20 conductors. Flux per pole is 7 milliwebers and runs at 1500 rpm. Find the produced EMF of the machine if its armature is wave wound. So phi is given as 7 milliweber, milli is 10 power minus 3. Okay, P is given as 4, speed is given as 1500 rpm. Z is equal to number of, if the value of Z is not given directly, so like this you have to do, students. Number of slots into number of conductors per slot, that is 51 into 20. 1020 is the value of Z. Number of parallel paths A equal to 2. Generated EMF Eg is phi Zn by 60 into P by A. Substitute all the values. We are going to get the value of generated EMF as 357 volts. Next numerical. A 6-pole machine has an armature with 90 slots and 8 conductors per slot and runs at 1000 rpm. Flux per pole is 0.05 webers. Determine the induced EMF if winding is lap connected and if the winding is wave connected. First, given data we are writing here, phi is given as 0.05 webers, P is given as 6, speed is 1000 rpm, Z is equal to number of slots into number of conductors per slot, that is 90 into 8. Now let us see first one when machine is lap connected. Lap connected means A is equal to P, that is 6. Substitute all the values, EMF equal to 600 volts. Next we are going to see for wave connected. Wave connected means substitute A is equal to the remaining things as it is. So we are going to get the EMF induced as 1800 volts. Next numerical. A 4-pole DC machine has lap connected armature having 60 slots and 8 conductors per slot. Flux per pole is 30 milliweber. If the armature is rotated at 1000 rpm, find the EMF available across its armature terminals. Also calculate the frequency of EMF in the armature coil. Flux per pole is given as 30 milliweber, that is 0.03 webers. Z is equal to number of slots into number of conductor per slot, 60 into 8, 480. EMF is 5Z by 60 into P by S. Substitute all the values. We are going to get as 240 volts. Frequency of EMF induced in armature coil is F is equal to Pn by 120, that is 4 into 1000 by 120, 33.33 Hertz. Next numerical. Armature of a 4-pole DC machine has 100 turns and runs at 600 rpm. EMF generated on open circuit is 220 volts. Find the useful flux per pole when armature is lap connected and wave connected. So first write the given data. So lap connected A is equal to P. Substitute all the values. So similarly for wave connected A is equal to 2. Remaining values are same. So we are going to get the values as 0.011 Weber and 0.055 Weber respectively for lap and wave windings. Next numerical. An 8-pole DC generator running at 1200 rpm and with a flux of 25 milliweber per pole generates 440 volts. Calculate the number of conductors. So when armature is lap wound, A is equal to P, that is 8. So the number of conductors is E into 60 by pi phi n into A by P. Substitute all the values. 880 is the number of conductors when it is lap wound, and for wave wound it is 220. Next numerical. A 4-pole lap wound DC shunt generator having 70 slots with 12 conductor per slot generates an EMF of 420 volts at no load when runs at 980 rpm. How will you obtain a generated open circuit voltage of 240 volts? So first write Z equal to 70 into 12, 840. Flux per pole is E into 60 by Z into N into A by P. Substitute all the values, 0.0306 Webers. So required open circuit voltage of 240 volt can be had either by reducing the flux per pole or by reducing the speed. So first one, keeping speed as constant. So phi dash is equal to phi into Eg dash by Eg. So 0.175 Webers. And second one, keeping flux constant at 0.0306 Weber. So N dash required speed is N into Eg dash by Eg, that is 560 rpm. Next numerical. An 8-pole DC generator has 500 armature conductors and has a useful flux per pole of 0.065 Weber. What will be the EMF generated if it is lap connected and runs at 1000 rpm? What must be the speed at which it is to be driven to produce the same EMF if it is wave wound? So again, substituting the values, all the values in EMF equation. So 541.67 for lap connected. Speed of generator when wave connected is Eg into 60 by 5Z into A by P, that is 250 rpm. In wave connected, A is equal to 2 and EMF generated is same as in case of lap connected winding. Thank you everyone for watching the video, students. So all the students, I hope in the last class I asked you to draw the lap and wave winding diagrams in your books. Okay, all of you do it. And EMF equation of a DC machine also, all of you do the derivation. This is your homework, students. All of you should derive the EMF equation of a DC machine in your notebooks and at least do 2 problems based on this topic. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching the video. All the students should maintain the notes for electrical machines one subject. So in the WhatsApp group, I will be sending all the 5 units, and I have I have written unit wise questions which are repeated in previous year's papers. So all 5 units important questions which have come in the previous years, I have written, students, that also I will share with you. Okay. So as soon as we finish the 2.5 units, we will be having first mid exam. Maybe probably next week or after that week. Okay. So within 2-3 classes, I will finish the second unit and I will start the third unit, students. So all the students should maintain their notes, running notes of whatever I am taking the classes. Okay. And practice all the problems. And one more thing, all the students should watch the video from start till the end and subscribe the YouTube channel of all the faculty members so that whenever we make a new video, you will get a notification. Okay. and give your attendance in the comment section. Thank you everyone for watching the video.